What's up? What 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 up? Welcome, Steeler Nation, Steeler family. Welcome to the first episode of the Terrible Towel post-game show. Week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills. And my goodness, let me just say this. I love when my concern is not a concern. I love when I have a theory or a speculation and it turns out that I'm wrong about it. I love it. And we're going to get into it. But guys, before we do so, we got to do what we always do. I'm going to speak to you guys at early commenters first. And then I'm going to give you guys an update as far as how the shows will be conducted going forward. I can't continue to do these extremely long shows. So I've come up with a new format for the post-game and Terrible Towel Tuesday as well, and I will explain that to you in just a moment. So that's probably why you don't see the phone queue active. But again, give me a second and I will explain that. But let's get to the commenters, man, because this one is going to be in and out. I'm going to get right to the action. Sade, hello, Miss Sade, how you doing? First commenter of the evening. How you doing, Miss Sade? Knight Rider, Rajan 39, John Gotti, Darren Covington, good brother Tony, Relfax 007. Hello, Miss Lanisha, how you doing this evening as well? Dwayne Duncantel, McEldo, I like that. Who else we got? In the Green TV, Ozzy Tanks. Hello, Miss Destiny. What's good with your Destiny? Y'all know Destiny, know her football, man. Happy to have you here this evening. Who else? Mr. Winningham in the building, of course. Leonard Green is in the building. I just left Leonard L's house. Father-in-law, Leonard L. And I'll be going back over there shortly to have dinner. Still a freak in the building. Who else we got, man? I'll read a few more names, then we're going to get right to the action. Jay Waller. Nay Drews. Mr. ABS, Mr. Abs is in the building. Hello, Miss Odessa. All the ladies out tonight, man. I love it. How you doing this evening, Miss Odessa? And Daniel J, Lee Sharp, good brother Y Diggy, Zuami M, and we'll stop it right there. All right? And of course, Kenyon, I'm sure, is in here as well. But all right, let's get right to it. New format for the show, guys. Like I said, I got to be open and honest with you guys. I can't continue to do these extremely long shows, each show. So the post-game show is going to have a little bit of a transformation. It will be a shorter show. I will not be taking phone calls. And I know last night I was talking about taking phone calls, and I got to get this. Maybe I need to back up a little more so you guys can see my hands. But anyway, we'll figure that out going forward. But yes, I said it last night that I would be doing phone calls on the post-game show, but I have changed my mind. I was actually discussing that with Leonard as we're watching the game. I think what I'm going to start doing now is Tuesdays. Terrible Towel Tuesday will be the hardcore, hard-coded, dedicated show for phone calls. That one would be the longer show, the longest of the 3 shows, because I will no longer be showing film live during the show because, again, I monetize my channel. I can't monetize. The NFL has caught on. I cannot show any NFL content and still monetize. Therefore, I'm going to have to take that off the table. What I might do going forward is I might find a way where I could possibly put that footage up unmonetized, but it takes a lot of time and effort. So if I do that, it may have to be a situation where that will only be available for those who are a member of the channel. And I've talked about that before, but we'll get into that at another date. But for right now, this is how it's going to work. Post-game show will be quick in and out. Give you my thoughts, read a few comments, out of there. The plan is to be less than 30 minutes or no more than 30 minutes. All right. Terrible Towel Tuesday will be the extended version of the show. I will give my quick recap on things that I saw on the rewatch of the game, and the rest of the show will be dedicated for phone calls. So that will be the show where you guys can call that number that you see on the screen, and it's all about you on that show. And the pregame show will also be the shorter stream, Sometimes it will be streamed. Sometimes it will be pre-recorded. Fair? All right, let's go. And I got some ideas for some other little intermediate shows that might perk up this time, at some point throughout the year. So stay tuned. But anyway, let's get to it, man. Y'all know how I do it. I'm going to talk about the first offensive drive, first defensive drive, first and foremost. What I am going to read here as well is the inactives. It was Dwayne Haskins, Witherspoon, Spillane, Coward, and Loudermilk. I couldn't understand why Spillane was inactive, but then I learned, shout outs to guys like Y. Dickey who mentioned it to me as well. I learned that Spillane actually had some sort of, shin injury during pregame, so UG3 was active. Because at first, Kenyon texted me and we both were going back and forth like, whoa, UG3 got a helmet over Spillane. But then you learn about the pregame injury. Okay, that makes sense. Some injuries to watch, even though some of these guys returned back to action, but some injuries just to watch. Maybe you guys have already seen the post game from Tomlin, but let's keep an eye on Deontay Johnson. He went down in the first quarter, but what a catch he made to put a touchdown up for the Steelers. We'll talk about that. Also, Chase Claypool went out of the game for a period of time. He looks to be okay, but let's just keep an eye on that. And then Ingram. Melvin Ingram went out late in the game, like on that last offensive drive by the Bills. Hope nothing is going on there because, man, the pass rush was clicking today. All right, so let's get into it. First defensive series, the Steelers deferred, and what do you know? Right out the gate, they give up a 75-yard return on the opening kickoff by McKenzie, who was a guy who was on the questionable list all week, right? And here he hits us for a 75-yard return, and my stomach just fell out of my body. The pit of my stomach just was like, oh, right? However, some good news on that series. Steelers held them to 3. The defense showed up early, held them to 3, so we only gave up a field goal. UG3 actually saved that touchdown. Had he not made that, that kind of I don't know if you would call it a chase down. I have to look at it again. I think somebody slowed him up, and UG3 was able to make the tackle. Had he not made that tackle, that's the touchdown for the Bills. So shout outs to UG3 for staying active on that play. The Bills started in an empty set. We talked about that last night. The Bills like to go empty a lot. They showed that personality in this game. Cam Sutton made a nice tackle for a 2-yard loss on that first drive. Brought up a 3rd and 5. Steelers were able to hold after pressure by Cam Hayward and Alex Highsmith. Ball got tipped. It looked like both of them tipped it, and that forced the Bills to kick a field goal. First offensive series for the Steelers. Najee Harris picks up 2 yards on the first play. Wide receiver screen on 2nd and 8 for a very nice gain. That was Deontay Johnson. Najee Harris picks up 4 on the toss on the play after that. Najee gets 2 yards on the very next play, brought up a 3rd and 4. And then Ben missed Deontay Johnson on a pivot route. That was the one where he threw it too high. Don't know how much room Deontay had there, but he definitely had room to catch and get 4 yards for the first down. Ball was not thrown accurately. And there you have it. Steelers had the punt, and the punt almost got blocked. I cannot wait to look at that play on replay because it was this close from being blocked, and Harvin was able to get a nice punt off, but it was razor thin. Almost got blocked. All right, so here are my key moments. I'm going to read my key moments section, and this is basically how I note throughout the game. For you guys who are new to the show, this is literally how I was noting as I watched the game. So some of the stuff may or may not be in order. It should be, but here you go. Opening kickoff led to the Bills' first field goal, which in that point, they only would have scored 3 points in the first quarter had we not given up, that 75-yard kick. Maybe they don't score anything, right? So the defense was doing their job for the most part. Melvin Ingram was able to draw a holding call on the Bills, back the Bills up to a 1st and 20. Missed hold call on T.J. Watt. And let me just stop there and say there was several times that I thought there were holds on Watt, 1 or 2 on Ingram, Alex Highsmith. And I don't know, maybe it's a combination of Alex Highsmith doing his ghost rush, but a lot of times it looks like the guy was hooking him and throwing him to the ground. And to me, if you hook and push, that's a hold. There were a couple times when I thought the dude got tackled, right? But I don't know. I got to look at it again. But I clearly saw that TJ Watt, there was definitely a time early in that game where the holding call, was clearly missed. Next up, I said Cam Hayward and Melvin Ingram causing problems early. And this is, again, you can see how I'm noting as I'm going through the game. I was noticing, man, that Cam Hayward was just eating out there. And Melvin Ingram. Early in that game, them dudes was getting consistent pressure and they was being very disruptive. Here's another notation. I said Ben not looking that good early in the game. His accuracy didn't really look good early in the game. And, kind of throughout the game, his accuracy wasn't quite there. Made a couple throws in here and there later on. Nice ball placement on the ball thrown to Deontay for the touchdown. Nice ball placement, if you will, on the deep shot to Claypool. But there was some throws here and there that Ben just missed. And, it could just be early rush. You just never know. Dan Moore gives up a strip sack. Ben stepped up in the pocket and didn't feel the pressure. The Steelers were able to recover, but Claypool on that play was called for a personal foul. And Harvin delivers a huge punt after that flipped the field. And also, again, guys, I always want to reemphasize when these notations are at one watch of the game in real time. So sometimes, you're not always going to catch what really happened. So when I go back and look at that play, maybe it was more so Ben rolling out the way he did and not so much Dan Moore, but it definitely looked like the guy got around Dan Moore a little bit, which forced Ben to get on the move. But we'll see, because I'm really going to focus on the offensive line. When I come back on Tuesday, I will be able to really talk about who did well and who didn't do well in terms of the offensive line. That will be my primary focus. After that, great play by Cam Sutton on 3rd and 1. Gets the PU in front of Diggs, and that was on that flea flicker play. You guys remember that? That was great defense by the Steelers, because I thought for sure as soon as my man did this and went to pitch it back, I was like, oh, we about to get hit. It just felt like we were about to get hit for something deep. Great play by Cam Sutton, man. Able to get that, the PBU and get it out of the way of Stephon Diggs. After that, I said after a 2nd and 1, Ed Oliver blew past Trey Turner, who was trying to do like a cut block on him. Got a 4-yard TFL, and then the Steelers were unable to convert on 3rd and 5, so we have to punt the ball away. Following that, there was a false start on Dotson when the Steelers were backed up. It brought up a 3rd and 12, followed by a bad punt. That was a horrendous punt by Harvin III. But listen, he punted for the most part really pretty well. Relatively well today. Is just that one punt, it was just at the wrong time. And the Bills actually started that drive on the Steelers' 35-yard line. Let's see. Right after that, I wrote, Cam Hayward gets pressure on Allen, forces him out of the pocket, and TJ is able to force the strip sack. Steelers recover the ball on the Bills' 45, which at that point was the best field position of the entire game. The Steelers were able to Steelers are forced to punt after that. You see, again, the way I note, I kind of forget my order and my sequence. But let me just say that again. Remember that play, guys. Cam Hayward got pressure. TJ came, forced the strip sack, and then, we had good field position, but we were unable to do anything with it. We had to punt the ball away. After that, I wrote, the Steelers allowed the Bills to flip the field after drawing a holding penalty on Dawkins. Remember that? That was near the end of the first half. Highsmith was called for offsides on the same drive. Bills were able to convert on 2nd and 2 in front of Cam Sutton, and that was right at the 2-minute warning. And Josh Allen was able to finish the drive with a perfect throw to Gabriel. Cam Sutton had really tight coverage on that play. And let me stop there for a moment, because I know that some people are going to say Cam got beat, and I browsed Twitter for a moment, and I already saw a little bit of that. And you got to understand, guys, sometimes there's nothing you could do with a perfect throw. And that, in my opinion, if you go back and look at that play, Cam Sutton was there. Cam Sutton was right there. Gabriel is a bigger guy, and Josh Allen put the ball in the perfect spot. I mean, perfect. That was a clear example of game of inches. was really nothing that Cam could have done in that situation to get the ball out. He tried to rip his arms through, but the ball placement was perfect. So, listen, you're going to give up touchdowns. You're going to give up receptions as a quarterback, but Cam Sutton played that very well, man. And at the end of the day, the offense won. All right, starting the second half, man, the Steelers opened the drive with a 9-yard run by Najee Harris. Box was a little softer, and that's something that I noticed too, man, and I'm going to talk about that in my takeaways from the game. Ben converts on the 3rd and 4, bought himself some time like he always does. Claypool makes a spectacular catch, and that's the one, the deep ball I'm talking about. He goes up, skies it over Tre'Davious White, and we didn't really hear much of him today. Didn't call his name much. White wasn't so effective, even though I'm sure he, was doing his normal coverages on certain plays. But what I'm saying is, we weren't talking about PBUs from him. We didn't talk about an interception, which is great. So, he wasn't so much of a factor. And like I said, man, we were allowing Claypool to go up against him. And, Ben was taking his chances and taking his shots. So we did all right. Then I wrote here, Ben missed Najee on the 3rd and 4. He had pressure in his face, and the Steelers had to settle once again for a field goal. Next one, Steelers start defensive series. This time it was Hayden, Pierre, and Sutton. We're going to talk about that in a second. But notice in the second half, you saw more of Pierre in the game, Sutton on the inside, whereas Trey Norwood was actually playing nickel early. Did you guys see that? Also, Marlette came in and played a little nickel. Also, in the dime, we started seeing Trey Norwood. Trey Norwood played decent. Even had a PBU late in the game. He wasn't playing half bad. But again, when I'm able to look at the all 22 and see exactly what everyone is doing, I might have a different assessment. But it was interesting to see. I mean, Mike Tomlin did say they had some tricks up their sleeve. So it was interesting to see how they played the cornerback position, which is what I was the most concerned about. All right, so moving on. Steelers were able to stop the Bills on a long drive. Bills went for it on 4th and 8, and it was a PBU by Sutton, which ended the drive. Remember that one? It was 4th and 8, and they went for it again. Cam Sutton name pops up again. Nice PBU. We end the drive. Then there was a big play to Claypool on the end around. As you notice, Kendrick Green, all the way down the field, looking like Marquise Pouncey, the lead block. Again, Steelers unable to get in the end zone, had to settle for another field goal. So it was just this constant situation, man, of the offense not going, just not getting it going. Steelers were able to stop the Bills on a 4th and 1. The Bills looked like they were faking a quarterback sneak, threw it back to the, was it Breida or Singleton? One of those dudes. Singletary, I think his name is. But they tried to throw it behind the line of scrimmage, and guess who again? Cam Sutton with this, using his noggin. Smart play, gets a tackle for loss, and the Steelers get technically a turnover there. So that was, to me, it was kind of strange that the Bills did that, especially seeing how successful you were with the quarterback sneak early on with that body type and body size. It was weird to see that they would do some trickery like that. Now, if they would have hit on it, then we might have been saying, oh, that was kind of tricky, that was cool, but they didn't. Our guys stayed disciplined, particularly Cam Sutton, and you came up with a nice tackle for loss. Beautiful play right there. And then Claypool was able to draw a pass interference on a 3rd and 7. Ben kind of took his shot with the 1-on-1. Claypool draws the PI. Najee rips off a best run of the day. Right after that, 18-yard gain, which he showed a lot of his vision and his skill, what he can do if he gets a little wiggle room. So it was good to see that. Finally, we getting the drive going a little bit. And then Ben finishes it with a touchdown to Deontay Johnson. Great catch and concentration by DJ. I mean, Ben put that thing in the spot, man. And, good, fairly decent coverage, really good coverage by the defender. But Deontay was able to stay with it, not only catch it on the tip, but keeping his feet in bounds. Beautiful catch, because again, this is a guy that we have continued to say, if he can catch the football, he's going to be a serious problem. So it was good to see him make that type of play. And then look what happened right after this. Are y'all ready for this? Nice PBU on Emmanuel Sanders to break up a 3rd and 6. Very next play, and I can't remember who got the PBU. Oh, it was Pierre. Pierre gets a PBU, right? Sanders has it, and Pierre comes over off of his assignment, knocks it out. Beautiful play. Very next play. Right after that, Cam gets a sack to end that drive, right? On the 3rd and 6, Cam comes up with a huge sack, and Miles Killebrew blocks the punt. And UG3 scoops and scores. What? Are you kidding me? Scoops and scores. What? Block punt and UG3 scoops and scores. And shout outs to Miles Killebrew. Remember I kept saying in preseason, I just liked something about his tenacity. You know, he was always around the ball. You know, he was always looking to lay the lumber on somebody. And, you know, that hard work paid off. And I can't wait to watch and see how we set it up. But it was him. How fitting for it to be a guy like him to make a special teams play for us to score. And that kind of, you know, really put us in great position. Let me read the comment here really quick. Shout outs to L.D. Carter. Round of applause. Okay. He says, I told you on Tuesday, Sim, if Ben don't turn the ball over, that's a W. Y'all really slept on that 3-headed monster on the outside. See, here's the thing. Shout outs for the donation, by the way, and thank you. Nobody slept on any of that. And I'm going to talk about that at the end, but I'm going to come back to this now. I know and I'm not saying you're doing it, L, but I know there's going to be people now saying, see, I told you we were going to win. No. And I'm going to explain to you why I said what I said last night. And why I also said, hey, man, listen, I ain't saying that they can't do it, but here's the reason why I'm concerned. We'll get to it. Let me speed through this. So then the Steelers get gashed on the very next drive, man. The run game, Singletary was going crazy on us. But I think as much, and I turned and told Leonard, I said, I see what's happening. They caught the Steelers in the pass defense, right? And a great adjustment by their offensive coordinator. They ran the football and they went up tempo, so we couldn't make any adjustments. And they started gashing us. It is what it is. You know, it wasn't like we were just looking trash at that moment or our defense couldn't stop the run. If you noticed, Trey Norwood was out there. We were stuck in like dime. And they did what they were supposed to do. They took advantage of our personnel and gashed us up the middle. So I said that here. Steelers get gashed by the run on the next drive. Bills played up tempo. Steelers caught in pass defense. See, look, I noted exactly what I just said to you guys. But Steelers gave up a field goal on that drive. It was 20-13, and the Steelers at that point has 5 minutes and 23 seconds left in the game. So then my boy comes up, and he comes every week. He shows up, he makes some plays every week, and that's for you guys that unappreciate him. First note I have right here. Big time catch by Juju Smith-Schuster for the first down. And the Steelers drive late on that drive, or late in the game. Then Claypool with a huge catch on 3rd and 7. Got shaken up on that play, but what a catch. Put the Steelers in field goal range at that point. Steelers passed the ball on 2nd and 11. Okay? I'm going to come back to that because I want to talk about that. They passed the ball on 2nd and 11. And then at that point, you know, we were able to finally finish it with a field goal with Boswell. Nice field goal, right on the money, 46 yards, I think it was. And at that time, we were up by 10, 2 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock. And I wrote here, that may have sealed the deal, which it pretty much did. I don't really have to talk about the rest of the game. But let me stick to what I said there about that sequence of events. And again, I put this probably more so on Matt Canada because Matt Canada is the offensive coordinator. But here's the thing. This is just me personally. And I love what I saw to Matt Canada, by the way. Matt Canada saw a couple wrinkles out there today. But at that moment, right, the Bills had one timeout. On 2nd and 11, even though we had lost a yard, you run the ball again, in my opinion. Run it again. We're in field goal range. Mind you, keep in mind, we started the drive on the 26-yard line. We lost a yard or so. We ended up on like the 27, in between 27, 28, however they wanted to play, spot the ball. Because I kept looking at that. I said, okay, we're still in field goal range. Run it again. Right? Even if you don't get any yards, you force the Bills to use their timeout. After they use that timeout, we can run whatever we want to run on 3rd down. And if the ball stays in play, which I'm sure we're not going to throw it on the outside, well, maybe it's an incompletion, but let's just assume the ball stays in play. Right? You can run it all the way down to the 2-minute warning. Matter of fact, yeah, you would be able to do that anyway. You'd be able to do that anyway because they would have called the timeout after 2nd and 11. On the 3rd down play, you could have basically did anything. You could have do a quick screen or something. You keep the ball in play. We could have ran that thing down to the 2-minute warning, man, at that moment. We could have. We run the ball again on 2nd and 11. They call the timeout. Boom. We can run it down to the 2-minute warning, but it is what it is. It ended up not costing us. I'm just saying I felt like we should have ran the football more in that sequence. But at the end of the day, maybe you feel good about your matchups and you go win the game instead of being conservative. So it's all good. But all right, man, let me give you my quick takeaways, man, and then I'll read a few comments and I'm out of here. Takeaways from today's game. Matt Canada was all over this game. We saw it. You saw his influence with the shifting. One time you saw Dan Moore on the right side shift back to the left side. He was all over this game. A couple of those screens looked a little different. You saw it, right? And that ain't even his whole bag of tricks, but you definitely saw Matt Canada's imprint on the game. Run blocking didn't look good early in the game at all. And I think it was more so, we'll see when I watch the film, but it looks like a lot of it was the way the Bills were packing the box. Because if you notice, like I said, later on in the game, and even to start the second half, when Najee was able to get a nice runoff, it was a softer box. But when they were packing everything in there, man, they were just overpowering us. And Kendrick Green, I did notice a few times, is what we talked about before. He has trouble with power. He has trouble with power. He's going to have to find a way to anchor himself a little bit more. I mean, your skills are what they are. Your size is what it is. But he's going to have to find some techniques, man, to do a better job to anchor himself against power. But for the most part, I don't think he played too terribly bad. But again, I might have a different assessment when I fully watch the game with the intent of watching the offensive line each and every play. Starting field position was just terrible for us in the first half, man. I mean, we just didn't get an opportunity. And again, I know some people probably wanted, myself included, we wanted Matt Canada to open up a few more things. But when you starting with that type of field position, it kind of makes you're playing a little vanilla for the series. Kendrick Green got taken out of the game at some point. I noticed that J.C. Heisenhower was at the center. And I thought that was something that they were doing consistently. But then on the next series, I thought maybe it was linked to 3rd down, right? But then on the next series of plays right after that, Kendrick Green stayed in there. So maybe he just came out. I'm thinking at that moment there was a little scuffle. Maybe they took him out momentarily to calm him down. Because you even heard Ben Roethlisberger say it, for you guys who saw his press conference before, where, they got to talk to him because he's an emotional player. He even said it himself. So maybe that's what that was all about. So maybe not, might not be nothing to report there. Cam Hayward is still a dog, man. Cam Hayward was all over this game, bro. From the word go. Cam Hayward was beyond disruptive. He is a beast and a serious problem in that middle, and he showed it again today. He is a dog each and every week. Still a dog, man. I put here that Cam Sutton played well, but actually, I want to give credit to the entire secondary, man. A lot of them dudes made plays. Minka had some good tackles. Minka had a couple real catch tackles like right there, or undercutting guys as they are trying to make the catch. Terrell Edmonds, seemed to be in better position in certain situations on some of those pass plays. Like I said, Trey Norwood had a PBU late in the game. did himself pretty decent in the game for the most part. Pierre, when Pierre came in, Pierre made a play in the game as well. And Joe Hayden was out there just being solid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to admit, my concern that I have, I'm going to continue having it because this is only 1 week. My concern that I have, they didn't give me that concern today. And that's the thing. You got to remember, if you thought we were going to go into Buffalo, like, just, you had no thought that we could lose, and I don't know what to tell you. We're never going to be on the same page. And some of y'all are just guessing. There's no way from a football mind that you thought that we were just going to go in there and dominate. Because remember what a lot of you guys were saying. A lot of fans were saying, oh, man, our offense is going to go in there. Yeah, okay. And you saw what happened in that first half. And okay, and the reason why I put Tomlin there in the thumbnail, because Tomlin did something in that second half. Got them guys going, because nobody ever wants to give Tomlin credit for nothing. But we got to recognize this as probably the best road win in week 1 of his career. Down by 10. I even saw, shout out to Alex Kazur. I even saw Alex post something at halftime. He was saying under the Tomlin era, when he was down 10-0 at half, he was 0-6. You got to give the coaching staff credit today, man, because listen, also shout out to Charles Davis, man. I actually got a picture with Charles Davis. Maybe I'll show that with you guys one day. Show it to you guys one day. But anyway, my man Charles Davis was saying, that they were reporting that the sideline was saying how integral, like, how instrumental, I guess you would say, that Tomlin was. He had his hands on that game defensively. Then they showed a shot on the camera where him and Butler was standing side by side talking. So whatever those guys did as a collective, man, it was working today. We had Josh Allen. He won't rest in easy today. You see all them pass attempts? His accuracy was horrible. Or let's say his completion percentage, because that one play, that one touchdown, his accuracy was perfect. But we had that dude under duress, man. So I can't wait to watch the film, because we was out there doing our job. And this is the thing that y'all got to understand as fans too. Because I saw this, and also, just to pick with my father-in-law, I was picking with him throughout the whole game, because it's like every play he's dissecting it. So like if we give up a catch, oh, we're bad. And then if we get a sack, oh, we're great. And I'm like, it don't work like that. Like, other teams are going to make plays. We're not going to get past, we ain't getting pressure every play. There's adjustments made that you got to, consider how many we're sending, how many they kept in the block. Is it max protection? It's all kinds of things that go on. So I would just, give you guys advice. Some of you guys that might not watch the game so detail-oriented, you have to understand there's so many things happening throughout the duration of the game. You can't judge the team off of one play here, one play there, because it was a point where me and Leonard was, having a debate early in the game. He was saying we weren't getting any pressure, and I'm like, huh? We getting pressure. We've been getting pressure since the first quarter. At that time, it was like the first quarter. I said, Leonard, Cam and Ingram is out there causing problems. They might not be getting a sack, but look at what's happening. Like, Josh Allen's clock was sped up. We were getting consistent pressure the entire game, but guys, pressure don't always mean sacks. And speaking of that, let's talk about that dude. Don't pay TJ Watt. Man, TJ Watt was out there being as effective as he normally is, and ain't practiced really. Ain't had no real contact. No preseason, and he looked like TJ Watt. He was tired a couple times, which was expected, but I think the dude played way more snaps than I expected. And overall, man, the pass rush was clicking. That's my last comment here. The pass rush was clicking, and I said TJ is worth every single penny. Every single penny we paid that man. Worth it. Y'all are looking at greatness, man, and I don't throw that around too often. We're looking at greatness in a TJ Watt. When it's all said and done, we're going to always remember number 90, TJ Watt. I'm actually going to buy his jersey. Because I collect certain players' jerseys. TJ Watt is one of those dudes, because I haven't had a upper number jersey yet. I was going to get my man Brett Kiesel, because there's just something about 99 that I just, I think is cool, that number, right? Never got his, but TJ Watt, I'm getting that jersey. And, you'll probably see me wear it at some point on the show. I don't really wear jerseys out, like we used to do back in the day. That was like a fashion thing. But I always wear some type of jersey or memorabilia or something like that, when I go to the game. I wear some type of apparel. And I plan on hopefully, I know with COVID and all this, who knows, but I'm hopeful that I might be able to still make a game this year. And I'm going to be wearing somebody's jersey. Why not number 90? Right? The dude is worth every penny, man. And again, the pass rush was clicking, bro. Melvin Ingram, my goodness. Dog, we got a 3-man. Let's continue to see how it goes. Because like I said, I'm not going to get too overly hyped either. I told you guys, I stay even kill, man, until about week 6. Then I know what we really got. So I'm not going to get overly excited about today and, we're going to win the Super Bowl. I ain't doing none of that. This was a huge win for us. And like I said last night, I didn't think we could go to Buffalo, given their roster as far as who's returning and the pieces that they added, like an Emmanuel Sanders, given the fact that we were unsure about our offensive line, and all of y'all was feeling the same way in that first half, aren't you? Steelers had 7 rushing yards. I don't know what we finished with, but I was seeing it. I was hearing it. Man, I thought our whole line was going to be better. Man, with them young boys out there, give them some time. Do y'all watch the interviews? Even Ben Roethlisberger said, listen, there's going to be some growing pains. Even he knew. So we'll see. But don't throw them in the trash so soon. Just give them time. And you saw what could happen when Najee gets a crease. So I think this is not going to be a repeat of last year. We're going to be able to run the football. We just got to figure it out, right? But like I said, I'd be the first to admit, I said it last night, I predicted that we didn't win this game today. I did not think we was going to go in there and take care of it because I had questions on the O-line and questions in the secondary. The question was answered in the secondary. Round of applause to the coaching staff and the players, man. Listen, man, I love when I'm wrong. I love when I'm wrong on a prediction. Love it. Because that's a win-win for everybody. And let's see if we can keep it going. Great win by the Steelers, man. And like I said, there's some things we still got to work on. I saw some things that I don't like. And I'm sure there's some other things that I'll be able to report on Tuesday, but this was a great win, man. I mean, this is a great test for this team. Being down 10-0 and able to come back and outscore them the way we did and the way the defense was balling against that team. Round of applause. 75 total rushing yards. Okay. Nah, not ridiculous, but definitely not where we want to be. So, but all right, that's all I got, man. Like I said, I'm gonna try to make these shows even shorter, but I've given you guys about 40 minutes here, so I'll stick around for a few minutes. Like I said, let me give you guys the format again. And I'm sorry that I changed it on the fly, but this is how it's gonna be. Terrible Towel Tuesday will be the show primarily dedicated to phone calls. What I will be doing on Terrible Towel Tuesday from now on is giving a quick recap of the prior week's game, a quick, small look ahead, and then phone calls the rest of the way. Pre-game show, post-game show will be much shorter shows, and it will not be any phone calls. All right? All right, let's see what you guys got. Tony says the Browns are going at the Chiefs. Interesting. See, I want to see that. So I'm definitely going to watch some of that game, man, because I want to see what them Browns looking like. Darrell Merritt says, good job on the post game. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hunter Johnson says, got some things to work on. Keyword, resilience for that O-line. I liked what I saw in the second half. Yeah, man, they stuck with it. They stuck with it from top to bottom, man. I mean, that comes from the head man all the way down to special teams. You know, they stuck with it. Excuse me. Why Diggy says, it's a work in progress, but I'd rather work on things that with a win, especially in a hostile environment. Amen to that. Amen to that. It's always simpler, and easier to work on things when you won. You know, it feels much better when you still got the dub. Marlon Nicholson says, secondary played great today, especially Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton did his thing, man. Mr. Winningham says, Real Mary says, good thumbs up to UG3. Okay. I don't know if that's the intended sentence there, but I'm going to thumbs up to our UG3. I'm about to say RG3. Real G Lee says, special team, Sim, stop the kickoff return for a touch, then score on a block punt. Yeah, man. Yeah. And you're right. And UG, why do I keep wanting to call this dude RG3? UG3 was a part of both of those. You know what I mean? He made the tackle to stop the touchdown, and then he had the wherewithal to pick the ball up, scoop, and score. So shout outs to UG3, the real MVP. Maybe that's what he was saying. That's probably what you were saying, Mr. Winningham, because I know phones and stuff. I don't know if you're on the phone, but I know sometimes autocorrect gets you. So maybe that's what you were saying. You said real Mary, but maybe you meant to say real MVP. Oh, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm going to say that. He was the MVP today for sure. A couple more. Mr. Ab says, Steelers' ability to account picks and recruit players is unmatched. Staying in a win-now mode while trying to build a future has always been something I've appreciated about our franchise. That's a great comment right there, man. I agree with you 100% there. 100%. Thumbs up to UG3. Yeah, I think I got you, Mr. Winningham. Robert Ellison says, I think the defense is going to keep it up, keep us in a lot of games this year. Yeah, man, and that's the key. Like, the defense already looking sharp, and if we can build on that, that's good to see. That's good to see early on, man, that the defense comes out looking fairly decent. Again, against a great opponent. Still, King B. Moore says, good comeback victory for my Steelers. The NFL better put some respect on my team. Yeah, I think the NFL know what time it is with us, man. No doubt. Mr. Sandman says, Deontay, Claypool, Juju did their job for sure today. Listen, man, y'all better stop talking ill on Juju. Juju makes those Hines Ward type of plays, dog. He's clutch. Yes, has he fumbled the ball away here and there before in the past? Yeah, he has. But he has been clutch and wins, especially last season, and you're seeing it today. He's been clutch on third down, or he's been clutch when we need to make a play, and Ben has so much trust in him. Think about that last play, that on that last drive. Do you see where Ben put that ball? Ben threw that ball to the inside. Thank you for the sub, Kim Neff. Appreciate that. Think about that. He's going up the seam, and Ben threw it to the opposite shoulder, and Juju had to turn to catch it. That's not an easy thing to do, man. That boy, come on, man. Y'all better stop talking ill on Juju, man. I'm sorry. I'm never going to allow y'all to do that. Never going to allow y'all to do that. You got to appreciate it. Yeah, Debbie, I got to, man, because I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of fans, like, right, you know, maybe not you guys, but fans not appreciating what Juju does for the team. Yeah, come on, man. Destiny says, I wish we would feed Juju even more. He would be so productive. Yeah, I do too, man. I definitely do. Whoa, Tony said the Browns are up 15-3. 15? How they get 15? Is it some field goals going on in there? Yeah, let me go on over here and watch some of this game and eat some dinner. Last one here from Leonard Green says, Juju is a tough dude. Get popped and gets up without flinching. Yeah, man. Yeah, Andre, Blog Talk isn't going to work today. And it's only going to be available on Tuesdays. So let me make that announcement again really quick. Just so everybody here knows. Again, the way I'm going to go moving forward, these shows, the pregame and the postgame will be shortened shows without phone calls. Terrible Towel Tuesday will be more dedicated for phone calls. I will keep my analysis short, and those will be longer shows to get in as many calls as possible. So for you guys who want to call in, you're going to be doing that on Tuesdays from now on. But all right, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. This was a great show. I didn't even intend for it to go this long, but, you know, this is great, getting myself in the mode of shortening these things up because I don't want them to be that long. If I'm doing a super long show on Tuesday, I got to trim some fat somewhere, guys. So I hope you guys respect that. But before you go, if you haven't already, man, listen, if you are a new person to the channel or first time you've heard of the show and you like what you saw today, definitely do that right there, man. Subscribe. And don't forget, for anyone who does subscribe, and if you are subscribed, you got to cut on your notifications so you know when the videos are flowing. As well, if you like what you saw today, thumbs up. If you hated what you saw today, thumbs down. You won't hurt my feelings, I promise. And of course, y'all know I don't never like promoting this, but yeah, I guess I'm supposed to, right? If you like to donate to the cause like some of the folks did here today, you can always do it via Super Chat, and you get your comment read, guaranteed. But also, if you want to do it outside of YouTube, Cash App, PayPal are both options as well. The information is in the description. Outside of that, still a family, let's enjoy this win. Let's watch some football tonight, man. Have some fun. Let's be fans now that we got that little 1 o'clock game out the way. Now we can kick back and relax. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday, man. And of course, enjoy yourself the rest of the night. Watch some football. Be safe. God bless. And of course, thank you for tuning in to the Terrible Towel post-game show. Peace.